Good morning, 6th grade Beaver Lake Middle School students. Today we're going to be learning one of my favorite exercises, the push-up. This is one of the greatest exercises for the upper body, and we are going to talk just a little bit about the exercise itself before we get to the form breakdown. So the push-up is a very simple exercise to execute in the comfort of your own home. It doesn't take much room, and you can be doing it inside, outside, and it's going to use a lot of the major muscle groups of your upper body, as I said before. These muscle groups are the pectorals, otherwise known as your chest muscles, as well as your arm muscles, the back of the arm specifically, the tricep. It will also be targeting the core muscles, the abdominals, the rectus abdominis, and the transverse abdominis in a stabilizing fashion, okay? We also are going to feel it a little bit in our shoulders, the anterior deltoids right here, but this isn't the primary place where the push-ups are going to target. Primarily, you're going to be feeling it in your chest and your triceps, okay? So, now that we know a little bit about the physiology of the push-up, we're going to talk a little bit about how to complete it. So I'm going to demonstrate. There's a few cues that I want you to take going forward. I will show the movement from this angle, and then I will turn to the side so you can see it that way. So before we even get on the ground with our push-up, I want you to think about where your arms are going to be in space. So with the push-up, if this was imaginary ground right here, we want to make sure that everything is stacked. That is your first cue, is staying stacked and getting into your high plank or push-up position. So on the ground, that'll look like so. My wrists, my elbows, and my shoulder are all in one line, okay? So essentially my eyes are going to be directly over my fingers over here. So it might feel like you're a little bit pitched forward, so you might want to warm up your wrists, especially if you're watching this video right now. Do a little bit of these. You can place your knuckles to the ground and stretch out those wrist and arm flexors and extensors. But we want to make sure that those hands are directly underneath, the wrists are directly underneath the elbows, which are directly underneath the shoulders. From here, we want to think about corkscrewing our arms like this. So if one pickle jar we're trying to close one pickle jar, and then we're trying to open the other. So it's going to look like this. Another good cue that we use here is imagining if you were on a football field and you were a lineman, you're trying to push the defense and protect your quarterback. You want to be pushing like so. This is where you're going to produce the most power compared to out here. This is going to be roasting the shoulders, and it might cause a little bit of discomfort in that shoulder joint. So we want to be pushing from here rather than out here. So once we understand that, we're right here, and we're pushing our elbows back. All we're thinking now is core to the floor. So our core is coming to the ground, and as it touches the ground, you're pushing the floor away. Okay? So I'll do a few repetitions. If I was to show you from an angle, still, we're not out here, we're not over here. So, that is the push-up. There are some things that I want you to take into account when we are doing these. Everybody's form is going to be their own, and some of you may be able to do these from your toes like I was doing, but you can also be doing this to your knees. As well, if you're not able to get all the way to the floor, that is a-okay. You can decrease the range of motion, essentially, by doing your push-ups to either a pillow, a pillow or a foam roller or something like this, maybe a couple books. Or perhaps you don't have this and you just want to do it to your knees. You can do the same thing. You're trying to be a rod from all the way from the top of your head down to your knees. So some things to note when you're doing your push-up is that we do not want any valleys or any mountains, okay? So when we're completing the push-up, I'll try to show from the side here. Everything is in one straight line from the tip-top of my head down to my toes. We don't want to be doing these, and we don't want to be doing these. So this isn't going to do anything. It is actually going to be harder on the shoulders This, if you're doing push-ups, you're going to be really putting a lot of load into your low back. So I'll show again one more time the push-ups with the cues. So the first thing we want to make sure is that we're all in one straight line. I'll actually do this one for my knees, and we're staying stacked. Wrists, elbows, and shoulders. Head is going to fall, or the eyes are going to fall right where the tip top of the fingers are. From here, we're thinking core to the floor, and we're just moving in one straight line. Then as we come to our end range of motion, for me that'd be the floor, we're pushing that floor away, all while corkscrewing our elbows backwards. So closing the pickle jar, opening the pickle jar. Or if we want to use our football cue, pushing like this. So, my task for you, 6th graders, is to practice these push-ups, and I want you to find which variation you'd like to use. You can do that from your toes all the way to the ground, or you could be on your toes and go to a foam roller. I want you to find a comfortable range of motion and extension for yourself that you can do 3 sets of 10 repetitions, 3 sets of 10 repetitions with proper form. So think about all of the cues that we have. If you'd like, you can video this and then send it back to me. Have your parents watch you, see if there's any cues that they can give you. Let me know if you have any questions, and take care.